negotiated. And by the way, that exact WhatsApp chat is on my wall. We pre-negotiated from 2,500, and she now went and was offered in Kenya $10,000 per month.
Wow. People, but I can see you shaking your head.
Can Jerry say it silently so that I don't feel bad?
No, make Omosh feel bad.
Let me start by saying
yeah.
that I cannot believe that Omosh, who knows me, actually went into a negotiation without first coming to me and paying me.
Behind the tent. Behind the tent conversation.
Sasa Jerry, you to the behind the tent.
Let me tell you why. Right? Because I want everybody to write this down.
Leave my ear.
Please type it.
Leave
right?
my ear.
You can never out-negotiate yourself from a job.
Wow.
What you can do
so wait.
is negotiate poorly.
Okay,
which a lot of people.
Let's pause there, Jerry. Sorry for stop. Let's pause there. You said you can't out-negotiate yourself out of a job, and that you're talking here. We have two contexts. We're talking about Kenya and the US.
Oh,
so it's
yes,
so it's in both contexts.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then let's listen to you.
Yes. So let me say that again. You cannot out-negotiate yourself from a job. What you can do is negotiate poorly. You can follow Google rules, negotiate poorly, and therefore come across the wrong way and potentially lose favor, right? Because when you go on Google, you get some of the most common repeated negotiation strategies, which are some of the worst things I see out there. I hear never throw out the first number. If somebody tells you never throw out the first number and forces you into a back and forth negotiation that's angry, like nobody is really willing to throw out the number, they are somebody who learned their negotiation from Google. The second thing you hear a lot is negotiate for other things other than salary. Try get a better vacation. Try get better 401k. Try get other perks.
Work from home. Come on, Mosh.
Work from home is a
Wait, you're 100%
save on tires and gas.
I see fish. I see fish
Oil
all the time.
Na spark plugs.
Next time when you wanna go for work from home, you ask for more because it's gonna increase your utilities by you staying in the house.
Okay.
Unajua watu kuna watu wengine wamesha kula hizo doa alafu na walikuwa na insider na wanaongea hapa.
Okay, let's go back to Jerry. Let's go back to Jerry.
Yes. So let me continue here and say this, right? I think any of you that follows my page and has come to Career Church, right, which are the free sessions I've hosted, including negotiation. And some of you here, like I think Judy was at the Elevated African Woman Conference, where people were talking about, people in Kenya and the US were talking about 4xing their pay. Somebody in Kenya came and told a story about 4xing her pay in Kenya through switching jobs and negotiating. Another one out of the blue talked about at her existing employer getting a 50% raise in Kenya. And I even have a story on my page of a Kenyan who was making about $2,500 working in government. And now she was going to work for an international NGO. And you know, in Kenya, before they give you an offer, what's the first thing they ask you for? A pay slip. They want to see what you're earning today, correct?
Is that legal?
They anchor.
In Kenya, everything is legal.
Wow. Okay, I did not even know that's allowed.
In Kenya, everything is legal, boss.
Let him answer. Is
that legal in Kenya?
Well, I don't know about the legality, but it's a common ask, yes, by HR.
Can you say no?
Well, you can know what people do is sometimes they doctor the number.
So you go to River Road for those jamas who give diplomas and you add them, you have them add.
You adjust the number to, so that it's.
But guys, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Wasn't this a practice in the US a few years ago? Because I remember when I was in banking and when I was moving from Bank of America to PNC, I remember when they asked me how much I was earning, and I told them, and I know that they were calling to confirm if I was within a certain salary range.
Okay, I know they can ask you,
They
but
can
demanding a
ask, it
pay stub.
happens. No, they actually
No,
do.
not a pay stub, but I'm saying here they when they call to do that verification of if you are you to verify where you are working and what you're doing, where you're working, they will ask that. I remember when there was an interview I did with the UN, and then I finally didn't take the position. They did the same thing too. They called Bank of America to ask them how much I was making.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Like where
to
I
answer
was
your
in the
question.
salaries.
Yes,
To answer
yes.
your question maybe before, I mean, back to the mindset or the context. I think based on what Jerry is saying, if I hear correctly, it's more, there's an aspect of the confidence that you have in yourself and being in the mindset to be able to negotiate properly. And in our case, most of the time, we are in that, the context or the mindset that we are in is we really need this job. Right?
Okay.
And so you don't want to tell HR that, by the way, is it even legal to give you my payslip? You want to give it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So that you're
Okay.
getting
You're happy
feedback
to be
from
there.
them.
All right, let's go back to Njeri because, and sorry for interrupting you. You know, you were trying to make a point.
Ali, they ask here, by the way, and I'll break down if you ask me. I'll break it down to you. Like, for instance, I have a friend in tech who was getting a job, had an offer, everything was down. Ilifika point here, your pay stub. And in fact, it wasn't necessarily the pay stub, it was actually the W-2.
Oh,
so
geez.
they wanted to see what this person actually made in the previous job. Previous year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that point, you know, it's back to that. What range are you in? Should we be giving you this? So now if you're telling them that you are making, I don't know, 90K and, you know, they are offering you 130K, but then your pay stub shows 60, you'll never hit that 130.
Okay. All right, good. So let's go back to Njeri. Jerry.
Not true. All right. So the story I was telling was the story of the person in Kenya who was making about $2,500 in government per month in Kenya. So in Kenya shillings, right? And in government, and $2,500 a month in Kenya government is actually good pay.
It is.
And it comes with perks, right? So the perks are really the big part. And so she left the ministry to go and work for an international NGO. And of course, they asked for her pay stub, right? And she had to provide her pay stub. It was required for her to get the offer. So you submit the pay stub. And however, despite her making $2,500 a month, right, what we did that a lot of people don't know to do or don't do was we pre-negotiated. And by the way, that exact WhatsApp chat is on my wall. We pre-negotiated from $2,500 and she now went and was offered in Kenya $10,000 per month.
Wow. Okay.
But we didn't stop there because I always say most people would see, oh my gosh, I went from $2,500. They know what I make and they offered me $10K. I'm not going to ask for more money. And we went back and I said, no, we have to negotiate. She was terrified. She said, like Jerry said in there, she said, I'm going to lose my job. And I said, no, you're not going to lose your job. And I'll tell you why you never lose your job. Right? And I said, let's go back and negotiate. And she negotiated, and that same international NGO came back and offered her $11,550 per month. Her peers at that international NGO are making about $6,500 a month.
Wow.
So I just asking for a friend, are you collaring a cut every month?
No, I don't eat a cut. I do a flat rate.
Okay.
For my negotiation.
All right, flat rate. But do you give a payment plan ama ni lazima papo hapo?
Hapo hapo.
No,
Jerry,
sasa kama
of
sina
pesa
5 bob
ikuzoea.
nataka kumake 18. Si afadhali unipe tu hiyo discount alafu tuongee huko mbele.
Okay. All right.
Moja unasikia ukiambiwa tumia pesa ikuzoee.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me tell you why you never lose your job in a negotiation, because that's a big, powerful statement,
Yes,
right? In a salary negotiation. The reason you do is because one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're negotiating their salary is they focus on their position. They focus on what they want. Their first thought is, I want to make X. So then they enter into the negotiation with their perspective in mind first. I'm trying to make 10K a month, so I'm negotiating for 10K. That doesn't work well. The opposite is instead to focus on interests, to focus on why the organization needs you and only you. And when you position your negotiation and really remind them why you are the only person that can do that job well and that they need you, they will have no choice but to give you that offer. Right? So when people come to you and they tell you these scripts you find on social media, on Google, that say, oh, to negotiate for your salary, talk about, I've done some research, and based on the research I've done, this position pays, market research, it pays 15,000 a month or 150,000 a year. And therefore, I'm requesting that you pay me 150,000 a year. You've made a classic salary negotiation mistake right there.